Hello and welcome to The Bridge 360, a show where we dive deep into issues that matter to you. I'm your host, Merciful Ajinamo. On today's conversation, of course, we discuss the national grid expansion and stability, and of course, how vandalism affects the grid. Sit tight, relax, it's going to be interesting. Let's meet our guest. Hello and welcome, sir.
I'm Engineer Jiboye Oluwagbenga Emmanuel, the Executive Director, Transmission Service Provider, TCN.
Okay, great. So let's go straight into it. What are the recent achievements that are recorded and that you can say about the national grid in terms of stability and expansion in Nigeria?
Thank you very much. First of all, we'll dwell on the expansion program of the TCN. I will only start to give fact and figure about 2024 because we have done a lot. But what we have at the fingertip since the beginning of this year, TCN has been able to add over 22 power transformer and commission, translating to about over 2,000 MVA capacity. The meaning is that we have been able to expand our network by having improved transformation capacity in the grid. We are not stopping at that. We have expanded our horizon by restringing our low capacity line to high capacity one to be able to carry more current to the city because we have the issue of reconstruction that is a bit difficult now due to right of way. So what we focus on to expand our capacity and transmission capacity is by reconducting the old lines that have been derated to be able to carry triple or twice the capacity they used to carry to all the low center. That is part of the expansion we have been embarking on. We are not stopping there. We are equipping our store with all the spare parts so that the downtime can be minimized or reduced, if not eliminated, which is not possible 100%. So as we talk to you, if you get to our store, you see abundance of spare parts. We even have transformers there that are waiting to be deployed to project sites. We are not limited there. We are also improving our capacity by upgrading our transformer in most of our substations. There are numerous to be named, and we depend on our partner that has been making this possible.
To an average Nigerian, these are statistics, these are numbers, these are figures. How does this affect me as an average Nigerian who's living Nigeria and is using power?
Well, that is a very good question. There is nothing transmission can do in isolation. We are just part of power distribution chain. We have to divide it into sectors for you to be able to understand what we're talking about. We have generation that produces the power. We have the transmission that transmits the power in bulk quantity to be able, and our motto is to transmit it in the most efficient and effective way. When we do that, we reduce what we call losses, and we will be able to maintain a stable grid. So we now take it from far distance where it's generated to the place, the load center where they are needed, which we now hand it over in substation to the distribution company. So in a layman language, you don't understand that intricacies. It's only the distribution aspect of it you see. Those are the people that give you light in your home. And those are the people that step it down to a usable quantity for all of us to be able to utilize. So when you are having issue with load constraint, it can be to transmission. We are trying to free that aspect in transmission by increasing the capacity that I've told you, by not overloading our power transformer, by making area that are required for more load to be accessible to the distribution. So when we are at that point, it's a different ball game now. It is the distribution to take it from us, TCN, and take it to the consumer. So in as much there is constraint between that sector, you might not get it at home. But we are not in any way deficient in most of the area in that area because of the improvement we have been doing. And we keep on improving. We have not stopped because we have a target.
Okay, talking about improvement, it's in the lips of every Nigerian when we hear one of the reasons why we're having this complaint is vandalism. How does this affect the grid?
Well, that is a very terrible thing. Let me point it out to you. In recent time, I will quote from January this year, we have lost about 13 to 14 towers due to act of vandalism. They are in different segments that we can categorize them. Some are pure sabotage. Some are just for economic gain. But the percentage of the pure sabotage by the banditry is higher than the economic sabotage. So we realize that what these people are trying to do is to bring Nigeria to its kneel, because from the recent development and the engagement we had, these bandits are being defeated. So they are looking for soft target to make Nigeria to feel their impact. So that is what you can see in what happened recently along Jos Gombe, where 4 towers were brought down, leaving 5 states at the first instance into blackout. But we were able to go around it by utilizing our 132 kV line to supply energy. But you know the capacity of 132 kV is low compared to 330. So the energy we could transmit on those 132 are very low. So we have to tell the disco around that place, that is Yola and Jos, to be rationing power. We're able to get power, but not sufficient, as if we are transmitting on 330. However, we have moved to the site. We have deployed men, our partner, and they have started work in re-erecting those towers and making them functioning again. So we respond promptly to most of these problems. We are top of the game, but unfortunately it's overwhelming. The financial implication on TCN is much, and it's not helping. The money, the fund we're supposed to utilize in revitalizing, in expanding, we are using it in repair, which is not good for us. The same thing happened along Yauri, where they brought down 3 towers. We were able to restore it in-house within less than 2 weeks. But the one in this jungle bay is too enormous for us. It's overwhelming. So we have to deploy our partner, not part of our workforce.
Okay, you said deploy. How do we step in as an average Nigerian who uses power? This affects us. It affects the vandals too. Unfortunately, how do we step in to make sure that we try our own bit, to curb all of this?
That is what we have been advertising and be telling people on the jingle. If you see somebody going around the tower or you see them pivoting, you don't need to accuse them. You don't need to challenge them. Please relate to the security agents. We have been having contact with them. So if you see anybody around them and there are suspicious movement, you can quickly call the attention of the security agency into them. Soon you will see the jingles, because we are on the we want to reactivate it. We have been working with our partners outside and our public affairs department in TCN. We want to be enlightening people in their local languages, in billboard, in radio's jingle, on television. So please, when you see people around the tower, challenge them. If they are too deadly for you to challenge, just leave them. Quickly alert the security agency. The civil defense are there to protect our infrastructure, and they have been working with us. The one we had recently, T70 at Gwagwalada there, they help us, though we have restored the line also. And fortunately for us, we have the backing of the DSS, the civil defense. They have been working with us to make sure they nip all this at the board, that it doesn't escalate to this level. And we are not stopping there. There are high-level discussions going on, which I might not be able to talk now.
But you can give me just a tip.
If as of today, we were in NSA discussing this issue, all the stakeholders together, and they are going to find permanent solution to this issue so that this thing doesn't happen again.
We do hope so. In your conversation, there are 3 technical words I would want you to give like a difference so we can know. Words just go around. You meet an average Nigerian, Nepal don't go. What's happen? Grid collapse. It's always grid collapse. But there are 3 things you've mentioned, and I just want you to give me a difference between them. So the first one is grid collapse. Second one is distribution outages and drop in power generation.
Let me start with the system collapse. This system collapse can be divided into 2. We have what we call total system collapse. We have partial. Let me start this way. Total system collapse is total loss of generation entirely. Zero. No power on the grid. It can be caused by either generation failure or transmission failure. We need to work to determine who caused it. So that is a situation whereby we have cascaded tripping both on the generator or on the transmission. Transmission might not trip, the generator will trip due to the management of the grid, where we have loss of frequency or escalating frequency that make the unit or the power station to go off the grid, leaving the grid without power. That is total collapse when you don't have any voltage in any potential anywhere on the grid is zero. But we have what we call partial collapse. Partial collapse do occur when the system is so responsive in such a way to isolate the faulty area. If the Lagos starts it and the system, our system is able to isolate Lagos, Lagos will experience blackout, other area will still have supply. It is easy to bring back in that situation because we can quickly bring up machine and close back that cycle. That is partial. But the people in Lagos as at that moment might not see it as partial. They have lost supply. They can be shouting there is system collapse. It's not true. Before you can confirm that there is system collapse complete, it means you have to reach out to every point of the grid. At so instances, the voltage is zero, no potential. That is total system collapse. Okay. So when we talk about generation ramp down, the generation ramp down can occur on so many instances. Let's take example when there is low offtake. The meaning of low offtake is that the distribution company decided either intentionally or due to weather inclination are unable to transmit power. They will need to open their feeder, or their feeder open due to system control protection. So in situation like that, the frequency will become high for the generator. If it is not taken into cognizance to start ramping down those machines, they will trip on over frequency and we can lose the system in such a situation. So that is when you see the system, the generation will be told to please ramp down. Or their machine, if it's on free governor, it start going down when the frequency is high. It start coming up when the frequency is low to be able to compensate for the load balancing.
A lot of listeners will be, wondering to ask, really, what is the capacity of the transmission network and how is it able to, manage all of these things and make sure that we have power?
About years back, if transmission could do about 5,600 megawatts, and that time, see the number of investment, the billions of dollars that has been expended on transmission, we are talking that we are in excess of 8,000. Not only by estimate, by system study. Though we call it static in the sense that it's not dynamic study. So the static study means that you keep some parameter constant and you ramp the system. But we have been saying it, we have in excess of capacity over 8,000 static testing. So when we say it, we mean it. It is now left for the people doubting to put it into test. Bring 7,000 megawatt to the grid. Let's see if the transmission can handle it. Bring 8,000 megawatt to the grid. Let's see whether we can handle it. But we are not telling you that we can handle 10,000 now, but we are telling you we can handle over 8,000 conveniently. It is left for us to be tested. Bring more power. Let's see what happens, whether we can handle it or not.
Awesome. I'm tempted to ask, how TCN works with other entities to restore power when the power goes out.
We know the generator that are on black start. The meaning is that they can start from zero. And those are the first point of call when we lose the whole grid. We call you to black start. That's what we call it.
Black start?
Yes, you black start the grid. So you come up with your power. We start gradually by picking and balancing the load. Then we'll be calling in under. That is the work of the NCC, the system operator. They have a model of doing that until we're able to restore and bring back all the units. But take note, we cannot bring back a unit if nobody is ready to take the power. As we are bringing the unit, we must be consuming it somewhere because presently our system doesn't allow vacuum. You generate, I take it instantly.
There must be a take.
There must be a take. If there is no take, we stop at that moment of bringing up the unit.
Is that a responsibility on the consumers?
No. Okay. It's the grid manager,
okay.
ISO, of part of the TCN that control that.
Okay, because we have Nigerians who are just interested in having solution or responses to these things. So that means if, from what you have explained in layman term, if there is no consuming power, there will not be a releasing power.
There will not be, it cannot exist.
Awesome. So what are your final comment on the current state of, TCN's, roles, responsibility, and the current state of Nigerian's power sector? Now, putting in mind that Nigerians have been complaining about power, the people have been saying, oh, there have been blackouts every time national grid collapse. What is happening right now?
Presently, it is not too rosy for us.
Okay.
Because everybody has become analyst in
Doing
power
our jobs,
sector. Everybody has become expert in power sector. Even the people that just pick a journal and read it, they will be analyzing power. But it's more complex than that. It's unfortunate that we find ourselves at this situation. The consuming power of Nigerians have gone down. And I want to point it out. Power in most sectors is not used for relaxation. It's used for production.
Okay.
That is one major aspect we have in Nigeria. We are not using power as now as we have it for production. It's for relaxation. What I mean by relaxation, most of the power, they are not going into production. They go into servicing domestic use. In situations like that, you don't have bulk power being transmitted. They are very few. The percentage of the power using for production is so low compared. That is why we have this. Because when you look at the power, it is the production aspect of it that consumes quantum power that brings us more generation, more investment. So as an individual, how many kilowatt hour do you use in a month?
Just TV and
just TV, your AC. But when the production is there for us to take more power, then everybody can be thinking of investment in the sector. But we have to start from somewhere. We need to make available the one that is there to be reliable and sufficient for the people that are ready to take it. Based on that, when you believe you have enough capacity, people can be investing in using more power. But as at now, we have a lot of things mitigating against us. The purchasing power of average Nigeria is not so good for power. Power is not cheap, we have to understand. Especially now that it's in the hand of the private sector that is meant to be profit-driven, not social service. We should differentiate between those two now. We are not in the era where light is social service. So you invest, you get your money. And if the environment is not right, nobody is going to invest. It's capital intensive. It's not that you have the money. It's financing that normally do it. So for you to invest, you have to know your return on investment to be able to pump in your money. And if it's not guaranteed, nobody will bring their money to the table to invest in power sector. That is the situation we have ourselves. When we build it up to a level, to be able to have the trust of investor, they will come in without even calling them. When they see that this is profit-oriented business, they will come and invest, and we can get more power to the grid.
Thank you, sir. I know I said final question, but yeah, I wanted you to talk about something, and that is the incessant complaint about national grid collapse. So how has the trend been, and what is the TCN doing finally?
Yeah, when you talk about if you watch it for the past 7 years, it has been on decline. This year, we recorded, let me point it out to you, we recorded only one total collapse. One, but two partial.
Okay.
Last year, before we recorded 2 system collapse, we were able to maintain the grid for 401 days. Nobody praised TCN that time.
Because you were doing your job.
But we expected people to even say, oh, it's unfortunate that this happened. But we are not saying it should happen. But so many factors cause it to happen. You see, when we tell you, when a vendor goes to the line and sabotage our critical asset, there is bound to lose of synchronism in the grid, and it will lead to system collapse. But we need to look at the deep root and the cause of this system collapse. You don't just blame an individual, you don't blame a sector, you don't blame the organization. Look at it. It is true that we know it causes disconvenience for people not to have light. But what is it that causes it? If the vendors goes off the line, if they don't disrupt any of our activity, I'm telling you, we will have little problem with this one. The same thing is applicable to disco. Go and check. They vandalize a lot of their infrastructure also. It affects their own operation. So most of the time, that's why we are saying, when you see people around your installation, if you cannot challenge them, make sure you reach out to the people to be able to challenge them, so that your investment, because most of this money we spend, it has to be recouped. Even apart from the discomfort, the money will be recouped somehow. And it's not good for the sector because what we're supposed to use for expansion, we use it for repair. And it's going to tell on our future expansion. And the benefit to the people will be delayed further. Instead of us to enjoy continuously, we'll be wasting the money to repair what we have instead of expanding to new area we're supposed to provide power.
All right, thank you so much, sir.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you, viewers and listeners. Of course, you've heard what we have to say. And one thing I've taken very important, the note, the tip is you have to see something. I'm not saying you should go out and carry cutlass and everything, but if you see something, say something, call someone, and that can be done and sorted. We've been talking about the role of course, TCN, and talking about grid expansion and stability. Till we come your way again, I am Merciful Ajinamo. Thank you and bye for now.